Hello everyone, and welcome to Behind the Bulletin. Today, we're inviting you into a story that blends romance, elegance, and quiet luxury. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue have opened the doors to their stunning mansion, a home where every detail tells a story of love. What makes this space so special? And why has it touched the hearts of fans around the world? Join us as we take you inside right now. You won't want to miss this. For years, fans had imagined it, but no one truly believed they would ever see it with their own eyes. The idea of Dylan Wang and Shen Yue sharing not just memories, not just history, but a home, felt almost unreal. Rumored, speculated, dismissed, and revived countless times. Their connection had always existed in a space between fiction and longing. Until the day the doors finally opened. The first glimpse of the mansion came without fanfare. No grand announcement. No dramatic countdown. Just a quiet reveal that immediately sent shockwaves through fan communities around the world. The entrance alone told a story: warm lighting, understated elegance, and a sense of intimacy that luxury properties rarely possess. It was not a house designed to impress strangers. It was designed to be lived in. As the camera moved deeper inside, every corner seemed to whisper intention. Soft textures, muted tones, spaces that felt deliberately open, yet undeniably personal. It was clear this was not the result of a designer's checklist, it was the result of shared choices, compromise, memory, care. Stunned viewers most was not the scale of the mansion, but its atmosphere. Instead of a cold grandeur, there was warmth. Instead of excess, there was balance. A reading nook bathed in afternoon light. A kitchen that looked used, not staged. A living room arranged not for symmetry, but for comfort. It felt human. And then there were the details that fans couldn't ignore. Coffee cups resting side by side. Framed photographs turned slightly away from the camera. Piano placed near a window. Not as decoration, but as invitation. These were not accidental. They were traces, quiet confirmations of a life unfolding behind closed doors. The tension came from what wasn't said. Wang and Shen Yue did not explain the timeline. They did not narrate how the mansion came to be. Instead, let the space speak. And the space spoke loudly. It spoke of mornings shared without urgency. Of evenings filled with conversation instead of spectacle. One that didn't need validation because it was already rooted in something deeper. Fans watching felt something shift. Wasn't a fantasy revived for publicity. Wasn't nostalgia repackaged for attention. It was present. Real. Grounded. The mansion was not just a setting, it was evidence. And that realization left viewers breathless. As the tour continued, the emotional weight grew heavier. Each room revealed another layer of their story. Another quiet declaration that love does not always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes, it arrives with patience. The bedroom was simple. Almost startlingly so. Neutral colors. Decor. No extravagance. It felt private in a way cameras rarely capture. This was not a space meant to be shared with the world. And that made its inclusion all the more powerful. It suggested trust. Confidence. A lack of fear. Then, the tone shifted again. Sunlight filtered through carefully tended greenery, creating a space that felt alive. Not manicured for perfection, but nurtured. Fans noticed a small path leading nowhere in particular. Designed for slow walks rather than destinations. To pause. To breathe. What shocked many was how unguarded everything felt. There was no attempt to control the narrative. Effort to frame their relationship as anything other than what it was. They didn't declare love. They demonstrated it, through restraint, through design, through shared space. Online reactions were immediate and intense. Some fans cried. Others remained silent, overwhelmed. Many admitted they hadn't expected this, not the mansion, not the reveal, not the calm certainty that radiated from every frame. The shock was not on the luxury. It was in the sincerity. Industry built on performance. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue had chosen something radically different. Stillness. They chose subtlety. Chose to let the world see not the beginning or the climax of a love story, but its continuation. And perhaps that was the most startling truth of all. It was not about proving anything. It was about sharing a moment. An invitation. Not an announcement. A glimpse, not a spectacle. As the doors closed and the tour ended, fans were left with a lingering sense of awe. Not because they had seen a mansion, but because they had seen what it meant to build a life quietly, intentionally, and together. The love story wasn't written in headlines or declarations. It was written in every detail of a home that finally felt seen. Came after the doors closed was even more powerful than the tour itself. The mansion was no longer just a physical space, it became a symbol. Fans didn't simply talk about marble floors or sunlit rooms. They talked about meaning. About what it meant for two people who had lived under relentless public scrutiny to finally reveal something so deeply personal without saying a single word about it. Silence, once again, became the loudest message. In the days that followed, online discussions shifted in tone. Excitement remained, but it softened into reflection. Fans stopped asking when or how Dylan Wang and Shen Yue's story began. Instead, they asked why this moment felt so different. The answer was unsettling in its simplicity. Nothing about it felt staged. There were no dramatic statements, grand confirmations, no attempts to define labels or timelines. The mansion tour stood alone, complete in itself, and in doing so, challenged the way celebrity relationships are usually consumed. This wasn't love presented as spectacle, it was love presented as reality. Industry insiders quietly acknowledged the rarity of such a move. In a world where exposure is currency, choosing subtlety is risky. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue seemed unbothered by the noise. Their decision to share just enough, and no more, felt intentional, controlled, and deeply mature. Fans noticed something else as well: peace. There was no tension in their presence. No guarded smiles. No performative affection. This was unmistakable, and for many, that was the most shocking detail of all. This was not a relationship seeking approval. It was one that had already found its center. Speculation didn't disappear, but it changed. It became gentler, less invasive, more respectful, as if viewers instinctively understood that this was not a story meant to be dissected endlessly. It was meant to be witnessed, and then left alone. The mansion, once revealed, faded back into privacy. No follow-up tours, no additional glimpses, and that restraint cemented its impact. It wasn't the beginning of a new narrative, it was a punctuation mark. A quiet acknowledgement that some stories don't need continuation to be complete. In the end, what Dylan Wang and Shen Yue shared was not proof of love, but confidence in it. Confidence strong enough to exist without explanation, strong enough to be seen without being consumed. That, more than luxury or romance, is what stayed with fans long after the screens went dark. Doors may have closed, but the message remained. Love, when real, doesn't ask to be believed, simply lives. As the final images faded, one truth remained unmistakable: this was never just about a mansion. It was about choice, the choice to share something deeply personal without turning it into spectacle. The courage to let quiet moments speak louder than declarations. Dylan Wang and Shen Yue didn't invite the world into their home to prove anything. They did it to offer a glimpse of a life built with intention, patience, and care. A love story not announced, but lived. And that is what made it unforgettable. Thank you for staying with us through every moment of this journey. Behind the Bulletin. We believe the most powerful stories are often found beyond the headlines, in the spaces between words, and in the details that reveal truth without explanation. We sincerely appreciate your time and your curiosity. Until next time, thank you for reading and being part of the story.